What's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and we're going to be talking about Game 4 of the NBA Finals on Prize Picks and Underdog. June 14th, Flex Friday on Prize Picks. Before we get into our plays, though, if you haven't signed up for Prize Picks or Underdog yet, for Prize Picks, just use the code at the bottom of the screen. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. And for Underdog, use code BACKDOOR. If you use code BACKDOOR, you're going to get a deposit match up to $250 and an instant pick'em special, which is a discounted play that'll help you cash your first slip. And they've been running all sorts of cool promos on Underdog, including the 8-man flex play, which is pretty wild, but a lot of fun. I've been just rolling the dice on some of those. You can get like 80x is what I've been pretty consistent. Actually, I put a couple scorchers in there the other day and I got 112x on an 8-man. I didn't cash it. Obviously that's harder to hit, but the fact that you can get such a high multiplier is kind of fun when you're not actually putting any demon or demon scorcher type plays in there. You can still get up to that 80x, and it's a flex play. So yeah, if you guys want to sign up for either of those platforms, there's a link in the description of the video. And these are the plays we're going to be covering. I'm taking Jaylen Brown. I've got different plays on each platform today. For Prize Picks, I'm going Jaylen Brown fantasy score over 42.5. And for Derek Lively, I'm going points rebounds over 16.5. And then on Underdog, I'm getting Jaylen Brown's PRA at 34.5 and Derek Lively's rebounds at 8. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, so for Prize Picks, I'm taking Derek White's free throws over 1.5. I love this play. And I'm taking Daniel Gafford for over 4.5 rebounds. I'm getting Gafford on the same line on Underdog, but I'm taking Derek White's blocks and steals at 2.5. It's actually a scorcher, but I really feel good about it, so I'll explain why in a little bit here.
All right, I like it. So quick recap for Game 3. It was a tougher one. That PJ Washington free throw, we got at 1.5. It ended up going up to 2, but it would have cashed either way. He ended up going for 4 again. That's 3 straight games. We don't have that option today. I looked for it. If it pops up later, I'm comfortable taking it even at 2. 1.5 would be nice, but anyways, PJ cash for us. Drew Holiday, he started to get pretty active at some point, but he failed to go over the 11 rebounds and assists that I took him at. He just went for 9. I think he might bounce back in that category today, but I still just didn't want to take it for the video. How'd you do?
Yeah, mine came just a little bit short. I had Jason Tatum for over 42.5 PRA. He went for 42, which is just heartbreaking. That ended up getting bumped really hard later, so I went ahead and took his points, and that cashed. I wasn't wrong on the fact that he did have a better scoring day. He just was so slow on the rebounds and assists, and half of that was because Jaylen Brown was super active in that category. I mean, he had like 8 rebounds and 8 assists, so he outperformed a little bit in that category there. I don't even know if you could say that. I think they just played really good as a team. But yeah, so we just got 0.5 on that one. And then Luka just had a really slow kind of night, unfortunately. We took him for over 32.5 points, and he went for 27. Kyrie handled a lot of the scoring, and yeah, I don't know. It didn't end up working out for him anyway. I mean, it was kind of a crazy game.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point, though, that is a little out of the ordinary for Jaylen Brown to go for 8 rebounds and 8 assists.
Yeah,
he's capable, but it's just not a typical night out for him. Right. So I'm sure that played into Tatum not hitting his a little bit. And then same with Luka, and Kyrie. Kyrie went for 35 points. Obviously, Luka didn't have to go as hard as he typically does, but we'll see, man. I would love to see these guys push this out a couple more games, but this is the pressure is on. Yeah, and the one person I keep thinking about is like, Jason Tatum is such a superstar. He's just such an elite, incredible athlete. One of the greatest to ever play the game. I'm not saying he's, Jordan and all these guys. I'm just saying he's one of the best to ever play the game, and he's so young still. But he has been talking for a year since they got knocked out last year. And I think that he is going to be coming in with like it's right here for him. I think that he's going to go hard. I think Dallas is going to prepare for that. So I like Jaylen Brown to be able to have a little bit of shine. I think there's going to be a lot of attention on Jason Tatum tonight, because if Tatum has a good game, they're out, in my opinion. But so let's break down these plays. Before we do, if you haven't signed up for DG Fantasy yet, Daily Grind, their DFS optimizer is awesome. It's our workhorse. It is the centerpiece of everything we do with this channel. And they are a partner of ours, and they're giving all of our viewers 25% off of any subscription amount you choose when you first sign up. So you can use that all the way up to a year if you want to get 25% off of any of the tools you select. Just go to dgfantasy.com and throw in code BACKDOOR, and they will give you 25% off of whatever subscription you choose. So definitely take advantage of that. We love that tool. So let's talk about Jaylen. Take a look at this over-under. So they actually have Dallas favored to win this just slightly, 1 point spread, 211.5 over under. So we'll see. I would love to see Dallas push this out one more game, so we're not totally done with the finals. But I still think even if they go back to Boston, like Kyrie still has to figure out how he's going to play in Boston. Like, but we're not there. We'll talk about that if we even get to a game 5. But yeah, so Jaylen Brown here. I was just taking a look at, before we started, I was taking a look at his blocks and steals. So he crushed this fantasy score last game, and he wasn't even very active on the blocks and steals. He got just the 1 block. So usually when the fantasy score is popping off, I'm like, okay, so was he very active defensively? Because if he was out of the ordinary, then I might not want to take this. But when I see a fantasy score, he went for 51.6 without being very active on blocks and steals. The reason we look at that is because every block and every steal for the fantasy score option is worth 3 points. So if you go off for like 2 blocks and a steal, that's 9 fantasy points right there. So the fact that he went for 51 without a lot of help on the defensive end, it makes me optimistic to take this over 42.5, because I know that he's capable of having more than 1 point in that category with blocks and steals. And so I love the PRA matchup. If we take a look here, so let's look specifically small forwards. So 16th in points allowed, 21st in rebounds allowed, and 23rd in assists allowed to small forwards. He went for 46 PRA in that last game, which is out of the ordinary. Like we were just talking about, he's capable of going for 30 points, but that's, on the higher end for him. It's not like he does that every game. But the 8 rebounds and 8 assists are what give me a little bit of caution. I don't expect him to go for 8 and 8 again. But I think that he can at least go for 5 and 5, 5 and 4. Like in the, I expect him, like worst case scenario, cut those numbers in half. So I'm not just expecting this to be a smash play, which is why I like the fantasy score a little bit more on Prize Picks, because I think some of those blocks and steals can help him out a little bit tonight. If we take a look at the over his last 10, obviously averaging 36 minutes a game, but he's been up in the 40s for this finals appearance, because why not? You're going to have your studs out there the majority of the game. You're so close to taking home the chip. I said first 2, I meant these last 2 games that they played. Just averaging 3.3 fouls a game over the last 10 games. So not getting in foul trouble, shooting 58% from the field on 17.3 attempts, averaging 10 buckets a game. Not going crazy from 3, 33%, 5.7 attempts. So not a huge part of what we're looking for here, but 11.4 rebound chances a game. In that last game, he had 16 rebound chances, and still averaging 8 potential assists over this 10-game stretch. But to actually turn those into assists, he needs more than that. So these last 2 games, he's gotten more, 12 potential assists and 14 potential assists. So you see in this last game, guys were just hitting their shots. So I expect him to go over this PRA line, and I expect him to go over that fantasy score line of 42.5. Now, Daily Grind does not agree with me on this one, so go with your gut. If you'd rather take the PRA, or if you want to fade this play entirely, go for it. I completely understand, because this is heavily favored to go under on Daily Grind as far as fantasy score goes, and that's because Prize Picks has this bumped up, more than a full point. Prize Picks is giving it to us at 42.5. Everyone else is at 41.1, 41 flat. So it is, a 1.5 bump on Prize Picks. So Daily Grind is recognizing that, and they've got this juice to go under at 54.17% odds to hit the under. But if you look at the odds on Daily Grind, it's just a minus 118. So it's nothing too scary overall odds. But again, this is just a gut play for me. This is like a narrative play. I really think that they're going to not want Jason Tatum to go off. And I think that Jaylen Brown is capable of doing more defensively than he did in that last game. So that makes me want to take this fantasy score for more. And then let's talk about Derek Lively. So his points and rebounds, obviously he went off in that last game, 13 rebounds. I like him to go over this line of 16.5 again tonight. I think he got pretty good minutes in that last game. Yeah, 30 minutes. So he played more minutes than normal in that last game. We know what he's capable of. He went through a little bit of a slump. He's kind of been a little bit hobbled here and there. But I like him to be able to go over this line of 16.5 tonight. I don't expect him to go for 13 rebounds, but I think that it's reasonable that they're setting his line for rebounds at that 8 to 8.5 line. Because I'm comfortable chopping 4 off of there, and still he would be cashing that. But if you take a look at the actual rebound chances in that last game, it's pretty nasty. 26 rebound chances. So with that extra playing time, he stays a little bit more active on the glass. He's young, he's spry, and he's basically like a younger version of Gafford. So I like both of these plays tonight. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Lively gets these opportunities again tonight, but also in exchange, we're getting that Gafford line so low. So I like both of these. It's set at 8.5 on most platforms, but Prize Picks and Underdog. Actually, I don't know if Prize Picks is. I like the points and rebounds. The points and rebounds aren't available on Underdog. So I just took his rebounds alone because they're giving it to us at 8 instead of 8.5. But yeah, I like him to go over this line. I think he can go for double-digit points again, and I don't think his rebounds are going to be chopped down too much. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends with 18, 19 points and rebounds. Maybe he just goes off again, but I still think that he's not going to just drop back off after a good performance like that last game, especially with so much more on the line. I think he's going to be very careful about not getting in foul trouble. I just think it's going to be a very calculated game from Dallas because they don't want this to be over yet. They haven't given up hope. I know it's like they're down 3-0, but I don't think, no one who's in the finals is going to be giving up hope just yet, especially at home. So if we take a look at, actually, let me show you the PRA for Jaylen Brown on the optimizer. They have the PRA favored to go over on Underdog, 52.7% odds to hit the over. They have it all the way up at a minus 131. Everyone that has this, some are already bumping it to 35.5, but everyone that has this at 34.5 has it at a minus 124 or higher. Some all the way up to a minus 138, like a FanDuel here. So feeling good about that. But if we take a look at Derek Lively on his points rebounds, the optimizer has this favored to go over, 51.89% odds to hit the over at a minus 125. And everyone's juicing this to go over at 16.5, lowest odds. Actually, FanDuel's got this at a 50-50 shot, minus 113. But other than that, we've got some all the way up at minus 135. So I'm feeling comfortable taking his points and rebounds, and I do like his rebounds alone as well. If we take a look at those, actually, no, they do have this favor to go under at 8. So go with your gut. If you don't like it, just fade it. But it's pretty much a 50-50 shot. They have it at 50.31% odds to hit the under at a minus 118, which is crazy. There's such mixed emotions on this. Some are favoring it to go over, some are heavily juicing it to go under. So you're going to have to just go with your gut. But we always like to be transparent and show you when we're going against what the odds are saying and when we're going with the odds. It's just a little bit of extra information there. If you are interested in checking out this app Outlier, it's really great for vetting your plays and diving into the details and seeing whether or not you want to take it, kind of like me with the fantasy score. It's like, yeah, the optimizer is not liking it because of the price we're getting it at on Prize Picks, but because I can look at all these extra details about the play on Outlier, I'm able to make my own calculated decision, say, I actually like him to go over this because of his lack of defensive scoring in that last game. I think that'll balance things out a little bit, and I think he'll clear this line of 42.5 fantasy score. But anyways, Outlier, there's a link in the description. If you guys want to try this out, they're a partner of ours, so they're going to give all of our viewers a 7-day free trial. Just go through that link is all you have to do, and it's in the description of the video. You can try this out for 7 days and see how you like it. All right, Jordy, I'm passing over to you, bro.
Sweet. Yeah, man. So before I get into my plays here, I just want to quickly tell you guys about Chalkboard. If you haven't tried Chalkboard, man, you're missing out, because they have a lot of these awesome lines like this Derek White free throws prop here. You can get so many of these like 1.5 lines or 0.5 lines for like random guys like Josh Green or, you know, whoever it may be. They have really awesome lines over there, and you can also bump them up and down. So I could take Derek White's free throws made, and I could bump it up to like 3.5 if I think he's going to get fouled twice, and, you know, make 4 free throws and get a higher multiplier on that play. So it's a lot of fun. If you guys want to check that out, there's a link in the description below. And if it doesn't auto-populate the code for you, which it should, just use code BACKDOOR at checkout, and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. So it's a really awesome deal over there. So go check them out if you want to diversify what platforms you're playing on. And we always recommend doing that because you just get way more bang for your buck. And you know, there's days where we won't hit anything on Prize Picks because the lines are so tight, but we'll have a huge day on like Chalkboard. So that's where you get the benefit of that if you guys are serious about playing a lot. But cool. So you know, actually they this play is really awesome to me. I love this Derek White 1.5 free throws. Last game he went for 4. He's hit this in every game so far in the series. He's gone 3 for 3 on this play. He's at least gotten 2 foul shots made in the last 3 games here. You know, he hasn't had a good history outside of that against Dallas, but this is the finals. You know, you get things like them getting into the bonus faster and him getting fouled, and that's what happened last time for this play. He didn't get fouled at all until the 3rd quarter, and then they got in the bonus and he was drawing fouls. So it's just one of those types of things where it's just a little bit easier for this to hit during like the finals because there's so much more on the line. So I love this play. He's gone over at 44 out of 90 games on the year, so it's not like a crazy thing. It's just 2 free throws, right? So it's not like there's too much to talk about here. They are giving up the 11th most free throws in the league. They're giving up 16.6 games, so Dallas does foul. You know, it's just kind of, they're young. They've got a lot of young players who get a little handsy on defense. So like Derek Lively, that guy can go from 0 to 5 fouls, it feels like, in 2 seconds sometimes. But it's just, you know, just depends. That's anybody. Gafford does the same thing, and he's been around forever. So yeah, I love Derek White's free throws made here. No odds on this one. It's just a minus 119 across the board basically. So it's just a 50-50 shot, but I love it. He's been going over it every time. Daniel Gafford, let's talk about him. I feel great about Gafford's rebounds here. I think him and Lively are going to have to be a very pivotal part of them winning a game here. I think it's, you know, been kind of the lackluster center play that's been kind of hurting them, you know, versus like you look at the other series they were in, like both of these bigs had a great series against Minnesota and OKC. So I feel like they've just been a little like overwhelmed, I think, by the pressure that Boston puts on. And like everyone talks about how old Al Horford is, but that dude is a heck of a defender. Unk is locking everybody down. So it's like you know, you gotta just pay respect to how good the Boston Celtics actually are on defense. So it's tough for these guys. They're both young. Gafford really hasn't been in these kind of situations before, so it's exciting to see them kind of go through it. I think Dallas, regardless of what happens, I think they'll probably, you know, lose tonight. Hopefully they don't, but I think they'll be back eventually. But yeah, I like the rebounds here. He went over it in the first game, or the second game. He went for 9 rebounds. I think 4.5 is just super low. Regardless if he hits it or not, it's a line I'm comfortable taking. It's a juiced up to go over. It's a minus 123 on daily grinds odds across the board. It's about that, or a minus 130. But it's a 51.5% chance. But I just feel good about it because, I mean, he's gone over it 74 out of 94 games in the year. So he's just having a little bit of a rough series here against Boston, which isn't surprising. I mean, he's had a rough career against them. Honestly, he's only hit this once out of the 6 games he's played them. But that doesn't deter me from taking it. I think it's a really low line. It's the finals. Their back's against the wall. So I think him and Lively are gonna have to be a big part of what happens tonight. So I feel good about him going over it. So that's the 2 I've got for today.
All right, that's the 4 for today, guys. If you want to check out our Discord, there's a link in the description. You can just go through that Patreon link. Patreon just manages our subscriptions for us. So if you sign up through Patreon, go into the Patreon settings, and there's a connect apps section in the settings, and you just connect Discord. It's very simple to do. It'll unlock all the channels for you in our Discord. You can see we've been caching. The Discord is just so much easier for us to stay connected and work together as a community. We've had a few people cash in some 6-mans, including Jordy, who cashed. Did you cash both of those in the same day or a 24-hour period? Or
24-hour period, yeah.
Yeah, you cashed. Well, you hit on that last NBA slate. You threw together that last-minute 6-man that some people tailed, and you were able to cash that, like you were saying, when that Jason Tatum PRA got bumped and you switched to his points.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, it's been awesome. We have a lot of fun in here, all working together. There's that CS. Is that just CS2 or?
No, it was League of Legends. It was like a 5-man because one DMP'd, but
awesome. And then there was this one. This is the type of stuff that we can't just always jump on a video. I caught this the other day with the Optimizer. This was 2 days ago. We took that Will Smith play. That was your play for the video. And so De Jong was already bumped, and thankfully he was, because he ended up not hitting, unfortunately, I don't believe. But so I was like, cool, I'm going to grab Jordy's Will Smith play because the Optimizer was showing like Brittany Griner at 16.5 is very low in their opinion. So the Optimizer had this on there at a -150. So I just quickly threw it together, and I'm like, I'm throwing 5 units on this because I don't know how long this Brittany Griner play is going to be up here. So threw that in there. She ended up going for 25 points. So that was like a 2-day play, but the Optimizer, it's awesome. You can really, you get to a point where you see something at a -150 on something like the WNBA. You're like, okay, I got to lock this in now. I don't, I didn't even look at Outlier or anything. I locked it in, and then she ended up cashing, went nuts. But anyways, we have a really good time in our community. If you guys want to check it out, come join us. I forgot to even mention it, but if we get this video to 200 likes, we'll just give away a membership to our Discord for 30 days or a full month, however many days are in that month. We'll give you a full month in our Discord for free. We'll select a random person from the comments. If you guys appreciate our content, just give us a like, and we'll throw a membership back at you. We appreciate you. Hopefully, this isn't our last day with the NBA Finals, but if it is, it's been a blast, enjoying this NBA season with you guys. Let's hope Dallas pulls it off tonight so we get one more. But have a great weekend, guys. Good luck on your Flex Friday slips, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.